morning, me again, back out for a little bit of another walk, make something to eat, bit of a little mukbang again. So it's going to be basically the same kind of thing because tier 3 is now kicked in and we can't do much more than what we're doing. So this is where I live. The minute they're getting rid of the early settling boat, so all them posh houses all over there, and they've all been built on a site what used to be called Muckmallybang place, and it was like the slum areas for the shipyards, and all got like teared down. There's a few streets still left open, like Coronation Street and things like that, but most of it was all teared down after the war because of bombing and stuff like that. But looks pretty nice in there now. But most of it was like slum areas. There's no shields, the wards of no shields got tore down. So I'm going to head off, do a little bit of walk, try and keep it a little bit more interesting for you, change the scenery, change what I'm talking about. Okay, sorry about that. Bye. So basically, here we are, still walking around, North Shields. North Shields originally got its name from a Middle English name called Shells. You probably recognise it. It's changed over the years, but it also, things like chalets and things like that all come from the same word, shells. I'll put the spelling on the bottom, but basically it's like an old Middle English word for fishing huts, sheds, stuff like that. And basically North Shields and South Shields, both the north and south fishing huts, originally built up around here because of the priory and trying to provide food for the monks and all that in the priory. So that's how it originally got its name, North Shields, North Shells. And it's just changed over the names to shields, as in battle shields, but it doesn't really mean that. So poverty around this area, it all looks very nice now, but when you think, two of the most famous sayings to describe poverty actually originated in Newcastle because of the tanneries. So basically you used to need urine to get rid of the fats and all that off the back of the leather so they could work the leather. So they used to have pots outside of people's houses. They used to pay people because the urine was apparently so good in Newcastle because of all the alcohol I used to drink, that it was one of the finer ones for the enzymes to get rid of the fats off the back of the leather. So they used to pay to collect piss pots basically. So some of the famous terms of like describing poverty actually come from Newcastle, like not having a pot to piss in and piss poor. If you were piss poor, that's what you were doing, you were selling your piss to the tanneries. And to describe being even poorer than that, they come up with not having a pot to piss in, meaning you couldn't even afford the pot to put the piss in to sell. So it says something about the poverty in your town when two famous sayings like that actually come out of your town. But poverty is not a bad thing. It actually grows character in my eyes. If you grow up with a silver spoon in your mouth, you've never had to endure anything, so you've never had that kind of thing to fall back on in hard times. So I'll bring it back a little bit further on. But like I say, all this area now, houses behind there, all very nice. Bring it back. Boo. So here we are. Oh, it suddenly went a little bit dark there for some reason. Here we are. This is back to Smith Docks. So back on this porch here would have been what was classed as Front Street, Muckmallybang Place. It's round about here anyway, because this was the docks. This was the street that faced the docks. It was called Front Street. Me Nana Ethel Wilson, formerly Gray, she grew up on these streets and she used to say it was that poverty ridden that you could actually see the cockroaches crawling behind the wallpaper. So that's how bad it was. So imagine growing up in that sort of poverty where cockroaches are crawling behind the wallpaper and you couldn't just go and get an exterminator or get rid of it or anything like that like nowadays. But yeah, she grew up on Front Street. She loved it, apparently, loved it. There was always something going on because there was a big fishing port, big sailor port down that way down there. I'll take a picture when I'm down there. It was like a pub cum club and it was like notorious, called the Jungle. And basically if you got any family members that were sailors back like they were in the 80s that ever went to No Shields, they would have heard of that pub before because it was that notorious. But yeah, that's where my nana met my granda, probably around about this area here, when it used to be Millburn Place, terrace houses. Bring it back. These houses, yeah, George Clark. Is it George Clark, Maiden Spaces? He designed them ones. And these ones, yeah, these fancy flats here behind us. Have you ever watched the silent discos between North Shields and South Shields that were made famous during the first lockdown when they were having disco lights and having parties between the two, but obviously in isolation of their own flats. That's the way it was from. Them ones there were the South Shields to the ones on the other side. And that pub I was mentioning before, the North Shields ferry there, goes from there to there, diagonally across there. So that pub I was mentioning before, it's now Luxury Flats. And that's it, what used to be the Jungle. And when I say Luxury Flats, they are luxury flats, mind. Beautiful inside them. But years ago, most notorious pub in the northeast, probably the Jungle. So this is the haddock shop, just some of the old photos. I'll just go past, show you. That's what it used to look like on map, Bedford Street. Tiger Stairs there. Tiger Stairs there. 7 stars. Tiger Stairs still there, up there. That's where the Tiger Stairs is, and used to be the Tiger Pub. There on all the photos. So here we are, the Wooden Dolly. This is where the Wesley, well, it wasn't the Wesley, was actually fair along by where I live, but training ship for the Navy was sunk, got refloated, changed its name, done a few things like that. But that's where it was, training ship for it. There you are here, and that's where the trail is. It's nice that they do things like this. But that wooden dolly there still stands. There she is there. Lucky charm. Number 6, Low Town. So I'll give you a quick clue where we're heading after this. Up them stairs. Wow, could you imagine carrying a piano up to 1127 Walnut Avenue a few times? That's your clue. Well, I just walked up without the piano, but now I feel like buying myself some fish and catching myself a boat. Here we are at our first destination, and for the life of me I can't think who we are to meet. Yes, Stan Laurel. This is where Stan Laurel actually was born. Dockery Square, which is around this area. This is his memorial park. Stan Laurel, Laurel and Hardy. Fantastic. It's this is like a little park that they made from called Laurel Park, but this would have been built on like this I mean, it's a lovely area now. This would have been built on all the slum areas up this end where he would have been born. So going back to poverty, you gotta just remember that laughter is the key. Drags you out, makes you a better person. Just remember carefully. Even the Queen's come out to see him. Your Majesty. This is the highlights I was telling you. 1808, obviously this was built. That's the highlights. And that's the lowlights when I was telling you the last time, but up on the top of the quay this time. And here is the perfect picture to illustrate the shells, the north shells. And over there, the south shells, or shields, how it's now called. Welcome back. Next part of the video is, what did the Victorians ever do for us? Well, the Victorians actually made it accessible for the lower class like us to go and take in salt air as a medicine down at the coast. So whenever you're walking on the coastal areas and you see this grand architecture and things like that, it's probably been put there by the Victorians because they loved the grandeur. And part of all that was building trains, promenades and all that, so you could take in fantastic scenery of the coast while getting the salt air in your lungs to try to clear out all the coal dust and stuff like that from being worked to death. But yeah, so we'll have a look at some Victorian architecture now. We'll start with the Time Out station and then we'll have a little walk around and look at some things the Victorians do just around my area. A lot of people don't know the plaza. I showed you the picture in the last one. I'll put another picture in now. I'll show you what the plaza look like. It's now a metro station, but back then it would have been all Victorian architecture. Cross over here, get a cup of coffee and head back. I should have maybe took that in as well. Sorry. So this is Time Out station. It's normally a market on here on a Sunday. That's what all the arrows are, obviously directly around the market stalls that's in here. We'll have a quick look over here and I might go and get a can of pop or something. We'll have a quick look up the Stevenson Trail. George Stevenson, another great person from the northeast, credited for being the inventor of steam trains, but basically all you had done was put two ideas together that were already there. You had steam rollers and you had tracks. You just decided to put the two together, that's all. But that's how inventions happen. So here we are, start Time Out. Church, the square, and the end is the statue of Victoria. So, getting back to poverty, what made us talk about the poverty on this video? A few years ago I was doing a family tree and you get some interesting turn-ups, but I think the saddest thing was when I was doing my Nana Wilson's stroke, she was called grey before she was married. But it was like the times when they would just sign themselves in and out into slavery, basically going into the workhouse because they were just too poor to live. And that didn't, not so much me Nana Wilson, but obviously her descendants and other like parts of it, but she never. But it was only a flip of a coin whether you did or you didn't, really, back in them days. But yeah, when I was like doing the family tree and you see the poverty and going in and out of workhouses, and I was come across a common theme in it. struck us, well, it didn't at first, I didn't really realise what I was looking at, but it was male grey, like on birth certificates. Oh, that's a nice name, male grey. Wow, I'm surprised it hasn't made a comeback, being thick, you know, not realising that's actually they were died and they weren't even given a name. So it was either male grey. It wasn't until I come further down saying female grey I thought, oh, that's why. But here we are, Victoria. I was going to take a picture the last time of this and started off like, what have the Victorians ever done for us? But there was a woman breastfeeding there and she didn't want to pull your phone out and start video people breastfeeding, get locked up. Fizzy wigs. Bit appropriate for this time of year, isn't it? Fizzy wigs. Ebenezer Fee. You know what that? That's the Grand Hotel over there. And that's a wank on the corner trying to catch someone without a parking ticket. I'll tell you a funny story about the Grand. Right. I was new to Facebook at the time, but the Grand Hotel had its own Facebook page. So they kept on putting like old-fashioned photos from when, I don't mean Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy stayed there when them coming, things like that. Going back on their visit, you might have seen that in the film. But so they used to always put like old-fashioned photos on. And you ever seen the film The Shining? With like the old ballroom. Well, they put this old ballroom on. So people like commenting and says, oh, did Jack Nicholson stay there in the 1970s and the 1920s? I'm sure he did, because of the old photo on the end of The Shining. And they commented back saying, oh yes, I've heard a story about that Jack Nicholson. I'm sure he did stay here back then. I was taking the piss. So over there in that rain shelter is where we had the last crime scene of a mukbang that I tried to do. We'll go over there. As you can see by all the people walking by, I had plenty of people popping in and asking, oh, what are you doing? So that's where the last one was. Not the most glamorous locations for a mukbang, but any port in a storm. So here we are, Teignmouth Boating Lake. It's obviously got no boats on the minute because of COVID and trying to keep them clean. But yeah, after a day on the beach we used to come up here, get fish and chips from the plaza there, maybe have a, just chat, give a mini golf. There was like a mini golf thing in the middle, yeah, fish and chips, and then come over here, and then up on that part just there was another little like fancy Victorian garden with a pond in, but they fill it in now so it's just full of grass now. But back then that's what it was. Actually the water's looking very green for some reason, unless they put some kind of, you know, we see quite a few fish. Not today. We used to catch fish with nets here as kids all the way. Me had 4 older brothers and a sister. Sister's like would have been 15 when I was born, you know, so her 2 kids, Lisa and Heather. But it used to be loads. We used to come down here. My mum used to take loads of it down, whether it was raining or not. If it was raining, she would just hire one of them tents to go in, and we just sit on the beach in the rain. And I remember one year, me, Lisa, Heather, and little Malcolm went down, and it was the foggiest day you've ever seen. We were the only ones on the beach. She hired one of these little tents, had a whale of a day, loads of jellyfish. I remember me and Lisa and Heather trying to rescue jellyfish, but there was just too many of them because they're all washed up on the shore. So we just used to do things like that, and then come up here onto that part up there, which was used to be like a little pond itself. We used to catch fish here and put them in there just for fun, and eat with fish and chips, get our stand food and head home on the train. Yeah, there's definitely a certain kind of blueness. I don't know if they've added a chemical to try and keep the pond weed down, but it's definitely looking blue for some reason. Today's mukbang, duck en orange. So that there is apparently the remains of a sunken ship, but I'm not too sure. think it is. I knew that news done a report on it, and spring tides had excavated it a little bit more around the edges. But I think it's it's been filled in with concrete, obviously, to stop kids falling down into the ship or whatever. But that there, yeah, that's apparently what it is. Top end of the ship, like sunk there. Well, here we are back at Coats Bay. This is where we left off the last time, back, but we're going to keep on going this time. And if I kind of get a little couple of long mukbang, or what did my friend call it? Muckmallybang. Muckmallybang. In where I'm heading to, I'll come back and just do one there, being everyone's sight again. Yay! Just had a phone call there off my mum in Coral Blush, asking if they can get picked up with the shopping from Baker. Sorry, I cannot. Got things to do myself today, me one day. Okay, sorry about that. So, this is Browns Bay, and this is Browns Bay. Just around that corner there, there's like one of those caves that looks like a skull with the two eyes and the mouth. And this is Browns Bay. And over there is the last thing of the Victorian era I want to show you. It's a little swimming pool bathing area, and then it's called Table Rocks over there, and that's where we're going to have a mukbang today. And it's like carved out or blasted out the rocks for Victorians to have a little bit more warmth to the water, because they could obviously drop the water that was in a rock pool, big square rock pool, and bathe in that. So here we are with the Victorian swimming pool. Been left a bit rack and ruin now, but tide fills it up through a hole there, it refreshes all the water, and obviously heats up a little bit more because it's a rock pool and being out over there. Muckmallybang time, as Kieran would say. Muckmallybang time. Time to turn that into some food. Yay! Plenty of people keeping tooting on us today of what I'm doing. But there we go. I'll make a couple of, well, I'm going to make one big burger. So I didn't fancy two, so I'm going to make one big burger, sit down, have a chat. We're going to talk about Christmas or something like that. So I'll bring it back when it's all cooked. Everything's cooking along nicely. Got my burger, my chipotle burger sauce, and all that. Ready to go. Cheese ready to go on the burgers. Doing pretty well, considering no one's looking around. Yay. Oh, I got these as well. Love these. These are onions, crispy onions. Plenty of cheese on top of my burgers. Lovely. Bring it back when I've got it all made, okay? Hi everybody, welcome back to Mally's Mountain Mukbang, Muckmallybangs, however you want to say. So today I've got double cheeseburger, crispy onions, lamb's lettuce, and a bit of a chat. Yay! Oh, can I get comfortable though? I don't want to make a mess, so I'll put my towel down there and get stuck in. Bite. Ah. It's really nice. Have fried onions, like pre-fried onions. They're nice, like. when I finish chomping on this. So it's nearly Christmas. I thought I'll talk about different things to do with Christmas. So this is a little cheer when I was younger. Now, two of my older brothers and my sister were up and out, and it was just me and our Andy left in the home. My mum used to always Christmas Eve, practically because she knew we'd come doing snoop and things like that. She'd always put a pair of tights between the bathroom door and our bedroom door to keep waiting, and we would always sing things like, why are we 2 o'clock in the morning singing, why are we waiting? And finally she'd come upstairs, sneak upstairs, cut the tights so it didn't make too much of a noise, go downstairs, hide behind the settee, my dad watch us two come downstairs. All the presents always either on, one was on one chain and one on the other chain. Well, one year, Andy tried to be clever. My mum used to always hide like a decent, good, the big main present in the dining room or somewhere around the house. Andy tried to be clever. So heads downstairs, and Andy, I'm not daft, I'm going straight in the dining room for the good stuff. My father, yeah, oh daft, you know, smacked his horse and sent him back to bed. Kept them there for ages. Well, I had to sit there by myself opening my presents where there was a good atmosphere. Huh. I think we learnt his lesson. Like, my mum used to put loads into Christmas every year. It used to be part of the nerves every year. Worrying about Christmas, you know. Worrying about Christmas. Good view this time, isn't it? Way. How about that for a view? Yeah, nice. I'll tell you, I take you to all the best restaurants. Alright, so we learnt his lesson that, yep. Good smack the horse and send back to bed. Can't remember what his big present was that was in the dining room, but it would have been something special because she never used to scrimp and save. Well, she never used to save, she used to always get the provy loan, end up paying for it all year round for one day, and I use it all the same probably. I've got little tales like that. Good Christmases. It was the build up was the best part. I remember going down to North Shields. Used to be a big fruit and veg stall right next to Woolworths in like the Back Bedford Road. Used to always practically block off the bottom of the road, and I remember used to always go and meet my dad, and then get loads of fruit. Well, tangerines and pomegranates. Back of the pomegranates. Well, but that's what we used to get. Mum used to always get loads of sweets, like proper bars, you know. None of these little variety packs. Never messed around with selection boxes. The only selection box we used to get was from the Laurel Club. It was like a gift. We used to always have like a good time at the Laurel Club. We used to always have, I can't remember which one I seen. I think it was Bambi. There was a protection screen on there for them on for all the kids. Go along there, play games all day, come back. That's when community was community. We need to get back to that now. especially the way things are going. It's going to be the only thing keeping me alive, really. I can't see out good happening here. I'll just quickly show you this. You see the holes in the rocks? Well, they look, they've been cut out for rafters. Obviously they've had like beams coming out from north here. All that for that little, for the Victorians. Do a bit of skinny dipping. Quite enjoyed this walk, like. I think I've embraced it a bit better this time. But last time, I mean, my wife just walked past there, cooking. She had laughing, you know. It's not like they're going to turn around and go, what are you doing? What are you doing here? You shouldn't be doing that, huh? You shouldn't be enjoying yourself. It's not like they're going to do that, is it? Whoop. Nearly lost me burger there. So for drink, I've got this. Dun dun dun. During the first lockdown, one of Joanne's friends was having a hot tub party down at Devon. And she was drinking cider on the back garden, and Joanne says, oh, what's that? She says, oh, a local brewery, Sanford Orchards. She says, I'll send you some. So not thinking, she sent a bloody case full of these bottles of cider. Not a big drinker, but I thought, wow, these are really nice, and I get all different fruit ones. This is called Franny Bramble. Touch of blackberry and cider. It's really nice. Actually nicer than the Copperbergs. The Copperbergs are too fruity, where the can still taste the apples with a hint of whatever. I'm just getting some funny looks up there on the top. Practically stopped, stayed, watched this. So I'm keeping looking up there for. How gorgeous is that? I'd say that was the best one I've done so far, like, cooking wise. That's the one I think I bit off a bit too much. A bit more than that could I cope with me one pot cooking. But done. Ah, that's really nice. So I'll try and get a few more in before Christmas. Tell you a different Christmas tale of little Mally's and PJ's Christmas. And then whenever I want stories for myself, I'll tell you some stories about Sally. He's been watching I'm a Celebrity. That's not really rough, innit? I guess it, living in a castle. That Derbyshire woman was getting on me wick. You know, Beverly coloured, a bigger star, yet she was trying to hug her limelight now as well as her own, holding her hand and doing things like that. You just think, yeah, just give her time, you have your time. So now I've got to head back. Got a bit of a walk to get back home. I think it's normally when I walk from Maine to here and walk back, it's around about 12-14 miles, something like that, depending on the route I take. Just trying to see if you can see that skeleton's face from this side. It's still just round the corner. It's dead spooky, like, because when we were kids we used to go on the rocks over there, and it's like it used to be like a smuggler's cave, because they've got like concrete at the back, obviously blocking something off what used to be there years ago. So that's there now. So I'm going to leave it there, enjoy the rest of this, and maybe just put a time lapse in. Speak to you later. Ta-ra. Oh, and thank you for subscribing. I forgot to say, but thank you very much for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Hopefully they get better, so stick around. So that's what was here. Obviously to tie that lot into the rocks. A Victorian. And dip in a dive. And one last look. And that's what it was. Short history into colour codes. So, nearly at the end of today's little adventure. Just walked through the fish quay on the way back home. Today's adventure was brought to you by the numbers 3, the word Stan, poverty, and the Victorians. And a special shout out to all the big birds I've seen on the way. I'm really joking. It's been alright, this one. I've quite enjoyed doing this one. It's made a change. So if you liked it, do us a favour, like, subscribe. You don't have to. Nice if you did though, but you don't have to. I'm not forcing you. Stand back. Not forcing you. But it'd be nice if you did. Thanks for watching.